All right. In this video, we're going to use reduce and find to gather data from our sales right here. So I have an array of items, like the item name, how many sold, and the price. And now I want to gather data. Hey, what's our total profit? What's the best seller? What's the most profitable item? And so on. And the best way to do this is to use reduce and using the second argument. If you look at my second argument, I provided an object, right? This object is prepended with all the property names of things that we're trying to gather, okay? And you're gonna see how that actually helps a lot. Okay, so let's take care of the easiest things first. What's the easiest thing? Total items sold, right? Now, remember, whenever you use reduce, you have to return first. So we're gonna return our accumulator, which is this whole thing, okay? So now, how do we find the total items sold? You're gonna say accumulator dot total items sold is plus equal. And remember, you can use plus equal because you prepended the value to be number 0. So it's going to be plus equals init. Init is this item right here. In every loop, it's the object. So init dot sold. Okay. So now, if we look at on the right, it says we sold 202 items. Cool. All right. How do we do the total profit? The profit is the number sold times the price. And we want this for all of them. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to do ac dot, let's see, total profit is going to be equal to what? It should be plus equal to init dot price times init dot sold. Okay. So now you see that our total profit is $67.90. Okay, now here comes the hard part. How do we find out which one is the best seller and most profitable? Best seller means, hey, which one sold the most? And I want the word hat or the whole object. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to use the index, which is our third argument inside of reduce. Okay, so I'm using index right here. So now I can do something like ac dot best seller, and I'm going to use a ternary operator. So how do we decide which one's the best seller? Well, we're just going to compare, in each loop, we're going to compare the number of items sold. That's why I prepended it with 0, okay, so that we can do the comparison. So it's going to be equal to what? It's going to be equal to, I'm going to say init dot sold, and I'm going to check if init dot sold is greater than ac.bestseller, which is initially 0. And if it is greater, the value of ac.bestseller would be the value of the items sold. Okay, so I would just say init.sold. And this should also be init. Okay, and then if it's not, I'll just leave it as ac.bestseller. Now, let's look on the right. Let's see what we get. Our best seller is the 137, which is the hat, but we want the whole object. We don't want this. How do we get that? Well, let's do this. Let's do if. So now if index, which I'm getting from this argument, if index is strictly equal to sales.length minus 1. So this means, hey, you're going to do everything on top, and once you hit the very last index, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to set ac.bestseller equal to sales.find. Okay, and I want to find the first object in this array with the same number of sales as ac.bestseller. So I'm going to do item returning item.sold strictly equal to ac.bestseller. Okay, and now you see that we get the bestseller is our item hat. And if we just want the name, we can just do .item at the end like this. Okay, bestseller is now hat. Okay, what about most profitable? Well, it's very similar. Ac.most profitable will be equal to, how do we do this? Well, we can check if init.sold multiplied by init.price. Is that greater than accumulator.most profitable? If so, the value of this will now be the product of these two, okay? And if not, the value will just be itself like it was, okay? So now our most profitable is 2808, okay? We don't know which item that is. So now when we hit the last index, we're gonna do that. Act.most profitable will be equal to sales.find. And once again, we're gonna find an item where the item.sold times the item.price is strictly equal to act.most profitable. Okay. And then I would just do .item at the end. Okay, so here we get our most profitable is the TV. Okay, so we only sold 9, but they each cost $312. Okay, if I delete TV, what are we gonna get? We're gonna get hat as the most profitable. Okay, how cool is that? You have to realize that we got all of this with just one reduce. And the cool thing is everything is contained inside of the scope of reduce too. Okay, and by using the second argument, we can make our lives a lot easier by prepending the property names and the property values of what we want, right? So we decide what we wanted, and then we prepended those values inside of our second argument. And then we can use reduce to find the answer. Cool, right? All right, hope that was helpful.